CPEC is going on to the second stage. And the second stage is, number one, is investment in our industrial zones, so industrialization. Number two, information technology. Pakistan is now giving great incentives for investment into our technology zones. And then number three, I mentioned before, is agriculture. Because Pakistan basically is an agricultural country. And we really need help in investment in productivity in our agriculture. So we are already signing MOUs with Chinese companies which will be mutually beneficial. So the Chinese companies will also gain a lot from investment there, and Pakistan will gain from the technology transfer. So CPEC is now in this phase two.
Great news, great news. Good to hear that. I understand that the year 2021 marked the 70th anniversary of diplomatic ties between China and Pakistan. Chinese President Xi Jinping said the two countries should stand together more firmly, promote their all-weather strategic cooperative partnership and build a closer China-Pakistan community with a shared future in the new era. So what are some areas where China-Pakistan ties can progress in the year 2022, of course, including the projects that you mentioned in CPEC?
Well, you know, Pakistan's emphasis since my government has come in is on geoeconomics. You know, we have so far concentrated more on geostrategic importance rather than the geoeconomics. And so geoeconomics means my government's priority is to lift our people out of poverty. We have, you know, unfortunately, almost 25% of our population below the poverty line. And the main consideration is to lift them up. And the role model we have in mind is, of course, China. No country in human history has ever lifted so many people out of poverty in such a short space of time as China. Because from what we know, they've lifted almost 700 million people out of poverty in the last 35, 40 years. And President Xi Jinping just announced the end of extreme poverty in China. So this, for me, is one of the greatest achievements in the history of mankind. It's never happened in human history before. So my government's concentration is somehow to lift our people out of poverty. And the model we look to is China's model. And this is where we hope to really learn the most from China. How do we and of course, we've had meetings on this before. How do we create wealth and then use that wealth to lift people on the bottom tier out of poverty?
Yeah, we hope that China's example, China's experience can provide some inspiration for countries such as Pakistan. And we wish you really the best in that regard. As we talk, we have a lot of things to celebrate, but the world really has been suffering from COVID-19 and the kind of economic downfall that the pandemic has caused to us. So cooperation is extremely important. How do you see the overall cooperation between China and Pakistan in terms of fighting the pandemic, and in what ways has China supported Pakistan in fighting the pandemic? And looking forward, what else do you think can be done?
Well, you know, Pakistan, I'm very proud to say, is one of those few countries which coped with the pandemic better than the vast majority of the nations that are affected by the pandemic. We are considered amongst the top 3 countries which coped with the pandemic best of all. In other words, we saved our economy, and we also saved our people from the pandemic. Now, we learned a lot from China, because as the pandemic spread, we immediately had very close contacts with China and learned a lot from the experience, because it started in Wuhan city first of all, and then sort of it went to other places. So we were in close cooperation. We learned a lot. We, of course, got when the vaccines came out, we, of course, got help from China. Other countries too, but China helped us at that critical time. So, fortunately, we are very pleased to say that we were one of the few countries that coped with the pandemic better than others.
Definitely, we hope that the situation will continue to improve and that we all walk out of this pandemic as soon as possible. Finally, in between China and Pakistan, we are good brothers, but Pakistan also has a good relationship with other countries, and Pakistan and the United States are also good friends, let's say. But some media are saying that Pakistan-US ties would face challenges due to rising tensions between China and the United States. What is your comment?
My comment is that the world does not need another Cold War. The world should not go through the situation where it's divided into two camps. And it does not benefit anyone. In fact, everyone suffers. But people gain if there's cooperation between the countries. We saw, in my lifetime, I saw the European Union came into being, and then we saw the standard of living of the entire European countries go up. So what I would say is that I hope that this does not escalate into another Cold War where we have to choose sides. We have good relationships with the US. We have probably what we call iron brother relationship with China. And we do not want there to be a situation where Pakistan has to say, look, if you are with China, then you have to cut off your relationship with other countries. In fact, what we want is Pakistan to play the role which it played in 1970 when Pakistan was instrumental in getting the United States and China together. The famous visit of Dr. Henry Kissinger was organized by Pakistan. So we hope to play that role. And my priority in Pakistan are the 220 million people in my country. And the only way my country, I will get my people out of poverty, the bottom tier out of poverty, is if we have economic well-being. And economic well-being comes with stability and peace. So if you have conflicts, the first thing that gets affected is your economy. And that's the last thing we want.
Indeed, peace is the message and is the aspiration for the whole world. Finally, Your Excellency, if you were to give a message to the Chinese people who are watching this, who love Pakistan as much as the other way around, what would it be?
Well, I want to wish the people of China happy Lunar Chinese New Year. And of course, it's the year of the tiger, which is my favorite animal. So I hope, this coming year brings peace and prosperity to China and the rest of the world.